Hi everyone, it's Ketan Makwana again, and welcome to the next instalment of the League of Disruptors Show. So, for those of you that was on earlier, I had the hilarious Simone Vincenzi. It was an absolute crack, and now I have the pleasure of introducing my next guest on the show. It's James Porritt. And James Porritt is known as the Greatness Coach. He will talk to you more about what's going on with all of that. And it's interesting with the bio that James has sent through about how he wants to fill Wembley Stadium and other stadiums around the world full of people that are financially free and just want to do the things that they want to do. And the reason I've got James on tonight is because James specializes on taking people out of their survival mode and into creation and success. Good evening, James.
Hi, Ketan.
How are you?
I'm the perfect combination of awesome, beyond awesome, and out of this world.
I can see you got the memo of a bald head, beard, and something green. So this is fantastic. Thank you very much for doing that today. It's amazing.
It's like a mirror, right?
It's absolutely, it's a mirror. It's a mirror. I wouldn't have expected anything else from James Porritt. So what's been happening?
Lots. It's been a busy day today. Been events going on, getting prepared for an event that I'm speaking at tomorrow with Abdul and Zena. Zena's an amazing individual. She's in the property industry, and what she does is she teaches people how to raise finance through Joyous Ventures, and she's raised £21 million in 18 months, which is insane.
21 million. That's huge. So we'll come on to Abdul and Zena in a second. So for those that are watching today, because we have viewers from all over the world, really, could you introduce yourself? Tell the world a little bit about James Porritt and a little bit of your background of how you got to where you are today, and then more about what you're doing.
Sure. So my name is James Porritt. Humbled, grateful, and blessed to be on this show with the awesome Ketan Makwana, who I've got ultimate respect for. Amazing individual.
Thank you.
We're both bald and awesome.
You can't feel me the other way. There you go. Look, I'm going to try and stretch across the screen. See if I can tap him on his bald head. There you go.
It's got to get serious. Hopefully, it gets serious at some point.
Nah.
But my mission with everything I do, whether it's business, personal, coaching, whatever, it's very simple: to help people transform their lives in a peaceful, powerful, positive way.
Nice.
And to help people break through their limiting beliefs and fears, to live the life that we've been created and designed to live, not conditioned to live, to take people from survival mode to creation mode, which is our birthright. Our birthright is abundance. And I'm in a really good place now where I'm at peace with myself, and that really is the key thing, relationship with self. But yeah, I wasn't always there. My journey has been, it's been a rocky road, and I'm a true believer that the more difficult our path, the more rocky it is. It's because of a higher purpose, a higher calling. And yeah, different titles I've used throughout the years: the Greatness Coach, Change Specialist. But I've just learned predominantly through heartbreak, failures, and empty pockets. Well, most people get told the same thing, right, Ken?
Yeah.
Go to school, get a good education, get a good job, get a nice house and car, get married, you have a happy, successful life, right? You were told that?
Yeah, life of the ordinary, I think, isn't that?
Yeah, well, this is it, because that's what we know, right? But I tried that, didn't do well at A-levels, failed. Had 3 attempts at university, walked away with all the debt, no degree, and as I say with my friends, not even a hat to show for it. And I'm the oldest of 4, no degree. And felt like a failure for the vast majority of my life. Been ups and downs, had over 25 different jobs, been asked to leave a lot of jobs as well, got used to that after a while, failed businesses, incurred a lot of debt. I've invested over £50,000 in myself. Most of it wasn't even mine. I don't even know, can't remember now where I got it from. Broken relationships, health issues, lost the one person that meant the world to me. And if we're in a relationship, and whether it's girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and the person dies, then yeah, it's difficult, we grieve, but we still have that kind of belief and knowledge that person loved us and cared for us, and that's a mutual feeling. But when the person's still alive and you're dead to them, that's very difficult to live with. We can still love on both sides, but it's a difficult thing to go through. But it was a great teacher for me, and I learned a lot through that. And I've had 10 seizures in the last 8 years, so I've completely had to rebuild my life as well, a lot of things. So through all those things, it was a very painful process. But it's like Steve Jobs says, we can't connect the dots looking forward, we can only connect them looking back. But going forward, we must trust in something. We must have the belief, faith, we must have a vision going forward. And one of my most favorite quotes of all time is Proverbs 29, man without vision shall perish. And what is vision? Vision is simply the ability to see ahead before it was. And if we look at the most successful people throughout history, whether it be business, sports, religion, music, science, yourself included as well, Ketan, we all start with that end goal in sight. We know exactly what we want and why. We're crystal clear on that vision. But we also understand that along the journey, there's going to be trials, tribulations, sacrifices, hardships. There's going to be the tough times. People are going to mock us, curse us, ridicule us. It's not going to be easy. It'll be worth it. But we endure that hard time. We endure the suffering. And eventually we get to our goals because we're consistent with the effort. We're consistent with the activities. And our goal, our purpose, our vision is more powerful than the tough times. And that's so important because people talk about the why all the time, but they don't explain why it's so important. Because the tough times will come and we have to have something more powerful than that. Whereas people who don't make it, and it's fascinating as well, I've studied with successful people, I've been mentored them. My business partner Patrick Powers, he's been mentored by over 300 millionaires. There was a couple that we were on the phone to on Sunday evening who built a team of 120,000 people in the last 5 years. Wow. It's insane, but the characteristics are all the same. And when you break it down, really and truly, there's nothing extraordinary about these people. They're just ordinary people that have done extraordinary things, but they had such a big vision. Wow. And they were willing to do whatever it took. Whereas failures, losers, people who don't make it, when the tough times come, as they will, they simply quit, they give up, they give in, and that's simply because they lose sight of the goal. And that's when anxiety, depression, heartbreak and stress kicks in, because we look at successful people and we look at where they are and we look at where they end up, but we don't always see the process. We don't look at where they start from. We don't look at what they had to go through. But I can guarantee you one thing: the most successful people on the planet have failed the most. Yeah. Success and failure are intricately linked. They're like two sides of the same coin. They're like Siamese twins. You cannot separate them. Success is simply failure turned inside out. And the master has failed more times than the student has even attempted. It seems like we've got a philosophical monk in the house today. I tell you, this is going to be amazing. But I've just learned through a lot of pain. Talking about taking back mockeries, you've got Beju, Haroon's in the house today. Lena K's here, Kirit Dodia's in, Tosin Ogunusi, nice to see you online. Haroon, I'm coming to you. Shimoni Gilani's in. How you doing? Sarah Lister's in. Hey, Duke Sayers here. Sally's a hell. Penny Powell's joined us as well. So you've got some real audience here today. Talking about mockery. Beju and Haroon, I'm going to spot you two out immediately. How dare you say the Maltesers, Posse and M&M's? You guys can't look this sexy, unfortunately. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Jesus. Who said it? That was Haroon, wasn't it? No, that was Beju. It was Haroon was with his M&M's, basically. Just see how it goes. Oh my God, guys are hilarious, guys. So Emma Loser's just joined us. Well, guys, for those of you that has joined us, I've got James Porritt on tonight. Basically, we're going to be talking about survival modes right the way through to creation and success. James has already just sort of described part of his background and how he's actually had to fight his way through
pretty much everything. We're talking about barriers, blockades, and breakthroughs this evening. So what I want you guys to do, who's listening out there, hey Tosin, nice to see you online as well. Good evening to James. Is more than anything is send your questions in for James. Anything that you want to ask James, or anything you want to ask about, in terms of how he's overcome certain things, if that's going to help you. James is going to be online with me until about 10 o'clock this evening, so we're on for about another 50 minutes or so, and we're going to be talking a whole load of different things, basically. So James, you've been told, Emma Louise has just said you're an absolute true warrior. So let's start with that. Let's start with we're gonna, we have to cut through. So there was quite a lot of things that you introduced into your stuff about moving out of education, going to university, and actually coming out with a debt, not degree. It seems as though you
the wrong D.
The wrong D. Well, you don't want the other D either. You don't want to bloody fail all the way through. But essentially, from there, it seems like the next D that came in was the domino effect. On the fact that you've come out of this kind of uncertainty and this negativity. You've moved into, whether it's employment and having a number of jobs, and they haven't really fit you, or they fit for a period of time and things have disappeared, to then like you say, investing a lot of money. I mean, 50,000 is a lot of money, even in today's terms, in terms of where you go. I mean, Simone Vincenzi was just talking about it earlier, about how much they invest in their business into themselves each year to keep them going through. You've kind of gone from the next D that's coming in, which is disappointment after disappointment after disappointment in this kind of story. You can see all the D's that I'm going to be lining up through the show. I want you to kind of really take me back there a little bit to your mindset and your attitude, because just as you started to talk through all the elements of your learning and the people that you have now around you and the things that you're doing, this is all now, but here comes the next D, the dark times that were there, basically. So we talked about domino effects, disappointments and dark times. Tell me something. How were you feeling? What was your behavior? What was your attitude like when you were really kind of submerged into this dark time?
A great question, and that's a very powerful question as well, because that really was what defined me. And I've suffered from several bouts of depression, and that they were really, really dark times, and I had it really, really bad. Like, I weigh 10 stones now, perfect health, best shape of my life. January 2011, I weighed around 8 stones, and I was literally skin and bones. And I remember when I failed at university first time, came back home, felt like a complete and utter failure, didn't know what to do, had a few part-time jobs, and then I was working at Barclays for a year, and I absolutely hated it. We were dealing with mortgage complaints and pension complaints, and it just wasn't something I wanted to do, and it just felt like I was living someone else's life. And obviously at the time I didn't realize it, but looking back now, that episode lasted for about a year and a half, and I had 3 bouts of depression which lasted about 18 months each. And the worst one was this was around 2009 time. I just left my job at Phones for You. I was a sales manager there. Didn't leave with a good taste in my mouth. What I mean by that is I was a mobile troubleshooter, so I go stores underperforming, get them over target. I had a really good reputation, and people looked up to me. And then the store that I was working at, someone had left there, and I got embroiled in an investigation, and then my name was brought into question, and I was treated like a criminal. And that's not a nice feeling when you work at a company where you're so respected, and I was trusted, and all of a sudden that turned around and I was treated like a criminal. It's not a nice feeling. And so I left, but that really did affect me in quite a bad way. I didn't understand it at the time, but looking back now, it did, because it affected my confidence, my self-belief. It affected who and what I thought I was. Yeah. Because I didn't see myself as a person that was genuine. My integrity was brought into question, and it really shattered my self-image and who and what I thought I was. And then got a new job working in the property industry, made some really good money there, but this affected me in a bad way. But from May 2010 to January 2011 wasn't a good period. And then I remember January 2011, I was having a review with my manager in the office, and it was a normal meeting. I remember the heating was on, it was really hot, and I was feeling a bit warm and fuzzy, and manager speaking, I couldn't really hear what he was saying. I was trying to get the words that I was slurring, and the next thing I knew, the paramedics were there asking my name and date of birth. I had a seizure which lasted 8 minutes. I bit my tongue, blood was coming, I was foaming at the mouth, shaking, I was incontinent, and I was out for about 8 minutes, which is like an eternity. And my manager was actually more scared than I was, because they didn't know what the hell to do. The paramedics thought I was taking drugs, and if you have 2 episodes in the space of 12 months, they put you on epileptic warning. I had 3 in the space of an hour, 1 at work, 1 ambulance, 1 in hospital, and I was knocked out for 24 hours, and they thought I was epileptic. And then over the course of the next few weeks, I had a CAT scan, MRI, EEG, and it was all clear, which ruled out epilepsy. Doctors were confused. I was on anti-epileptic drugs for about 6 months, and then I kind of weaned myself off it, but it messed up my eating pattern, my sleeping patterns, my hormones, and I'd become a bit of a recluse, because from May 2010 to January 2011, wasn't eating properly, wasn't sleeping properly, wasn't happy with the job, just going to work and coming home. My friends were calling me out. I'd be like, yeah, I'm coming, and not go out. They thought I didn't like them, and I just cut off from kind of everything. It was so bad, Ketan. Friday nights, I'd come home from work, and I was living with my brother, his wife, and his 2 little ones, so we were all renting together. I'd come home from work on a Friday evening, I'd go to my room, and I wouldn't leave my room until Monday morning. I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't drink, I wouldn't go to the toilet, I wouldn't even sleep. Looking back now, I can't remember what I was doing, but I was so searching. And I've got a book coming out as well, it's fascinating, because that book, most of the stuff I've written there, it didn't come from the best time, it came from all the darkness.
Yeah, but look, I mean, first of all, I've got to really appreciate you for sharing all this, because these things are very hard, bringing back old memories and stuff like this, and one of the reasons why I wanted you on the League of Disruptors Show is very much for this kind of unearthing, because there are people out there who perhaps are not even going through the remotest extremes that you've been through, but they are touching certain points in their lives, and I think it's important for people to listen and understand that there are others out there that are going through this type of, or have been through these type of conditions before. And so first of all, thank you very much for A, coming on, and B, sharing as much detail as you have. These D's are going to keep coming all evening now. I've had dynamic disappointment, just dark details. Yeah. Look, let's go. I want to just go back a little bit when you talked about depression. And recently, I did a Facebook Live. In fact, last week, about the struggles that people have to make ends meet. And one of the things that I talked about is the fact that struggles lead to anxiety, and then anxiety actually then leads to paranoia, and that's where fear and all these type of entities end up. I think one of the actors within your sort of depression was the constant the constant sort of circulation of bad stuff that was going on. It just seemed like you couldn't get a break. You couldn't buy one in that respect. Even if you purely went out to buy to buy a break. Now, pushing yourself into that sort of depression mode, you almost start living in another world. I mean, I haven't, fortunately for me, I have never had that kind of, untouched wood, that kind of experience of going through such deep depressions. But when you talked about your eating habits changed, your sleeping habits changed, you didn't want to be around people. When you were kind of shut in, to yourself, you on a Friday you go home, and then you won't resubmerge till Monday. What was going through your mind? What were you actually doing? Were you just sitting there? Were you just looking? What was happening?
That's the thing. It was just I went into such a deep, dark space. It was just constant thoughts. I didn't have any motivation, any self-belief. It was complete opposite of who and what I am now. And I think it was just soul searching as well. And it was constant thinking, and like I couldn't face people. I didn't want people to see me the way I was, because I'd gone from this confident person and it was a complete opposite. And I didn't like going to the house. I was very withdrawn. Like, we'd have family get-togethers downstairs, and I wouldn't come down. And people thought I didn't like them. At my lowest point, I remember my mum and sister would come to the house, and I could hear them downstairs, and it was night time, and they put the landing light out to come up to me. And and now looking back, it's incredulous, because they knew I didn't have any friends at the time. Yeah. I'm not going to be anywhere else. I switched the light off, and I went and hid behind the wardrobe. And my mum came and found me.
You hid behind the wardrobe?
I went and hid behind the wardrobe. Now, that's not normal behaviour for a young child, let alone a grown adult.
No.
And that was my lowest point. And my mum broke down in tears. She was crying. My sister was swearing at me. Everyone was trying to help me, but they're actually making it worse. And it wasn't just affecting me, it was affecting everyone. And that was my lowest point. And when I got to that point, it was like, enough is enough is enough. I just got to the point where I couldn't go any lower. There was nowhere further left to go. And my life couldn't get any worse. And I was like, this is it. It has to fucking stop. I have to do something. And that's when I made the decision. I reached out.
Another D.
I actually...
Another D.
Yeah. I remember I got into some Tony Robbins. I'd seen something online. I called up. I was listening to the stuff. I had some other stuff there. And then the biggest difference was I reached out to a coach, and it was actually Patrick Powers who completely transformed my life with his coaching. And his coaching is so powerful that it really made a difference in my life. Haroon Rabbani, who's on the call now as well, Haroon's stuff is so powerful. Haroon's had such a massive influence on me, so thanks a lot, Haroon, as well. But it was connecting with these people, and when we're in such a dark place, we don't want to reach out because there's that shame, there's that guilt, and those dark emotions which we allow to trap us. But when we reach out, we find that actually there's people there that want to help us, and it's a journey.
So I think, one of the things that I suppose I wanted to kind of unearth from this is sometimes, when you're in that kind of mindset, you do feel like A, you're a burden on others, and B,
absolutely,
you kind of feel like you're not, there isn't anyone that can really help you because it's you that has the issue in that respect. So look, I don't want to stay in that kind of dark, dismal, there's another D, a dark, dismal environment, basically. I know. I told you it's going to happen all the way through the show now. You started it with
but you know what the fascinating thing is? Before, I used to be so emotionally attached to it, but now when I speak about it, it's weird. It's actually like I'm speaking about someone else. It's not like I'm speaking about myself. It's like I've read a story or there's a book there, but it's someone else's story, someone else's life, not mine.
I mean, and we're going to come to why that happens, because I think this is very much around to the centre and the epicenter of why you do the work that you do and what you instill into other people in regards of moving out of survival modes into creating success. And success in that metaphor doesn't mean wealth and stuff like that. It could, like you say, it's all about freedom. And again, we had Amanda Watts on last week talking about how to create a freedom life in this kind of respect. And there are aspects of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today which are very resonant to these breakthroughs that you've had. So you're on that turning point now. You've got to that point of no return. Your back was against the wall. You said, this is it. Enough is enough is enough. There's no more further back I can go. The only way I can do is now move forward. You've decided to come out from behind the closet, or the wardrobe. You've now decided to switch the light on. You've now decided to come down the stairs. You've now decided to get out of the house. you've connected, you know, whether it's metaphorically, physically, or through kind of energy with people. Doesn't, you know, whether it's Haroon, whether it's Patrick, or whatever it is in your life. These are touch points that have come in. But the big thing that I want you to kind of talk a little about now is what you had to do to yourself to enable yourself to trust, because to come out of such isolation to, you know, into a world where people are offering you an olive branch to and I mean this in the most respectful way, to help you, it still takes you an innate ability to trust one's self, plus the people that you're installing your installing your sort of your emotions to. So what did you go through to really turn that trust around?
Well, it's fascinating, and it's a great point you make as well, because initially what happened was I left the job, so made a clean break, and then my brother was getting married in Philippines, so I went to the Philippines for a few weeks. A bit of sunshine helps as well. the weather in the UK doesn't help. And then I've actually what did I do then? Oh yeah, I actually did something that I wanted to do before, which is my personal training. So I went and listened to the personal training course, qualified as a personal trainer. So it was small little victories which start building up the confidence, the belief. And then I started back at the gym as well, my eating patterns and the physical transformation as well. So I'd built up again, and it's amazing, like the way we look at ourselves in the mirror. If we put on weight or lose weight, these are powerful transformation. And that's a lot of work that I'm doing with now as well, one of the companies that I'm working with. But when we have a physical transformation, it's so powerful because it shifts our self-belief, our self-esteem, our confidence, the way in which we see ourselves. And that's got a double effect as well, because people only see us the way in which we see ourselves, and we cannot operate or live beyond our self-image. If we do, we self-destruct.
Okay, so look, there's something that I want to pick up here and kind of amplify a little bit. You know, in order for you to start to build your confidence and to build that trust, whether it's in yourself first, you mentioned, and I quote you specifically, small victories. So, you know, the transformation may seem huge to you, but actually in the perspective of things, what you've done is created very granular small victories amongst yourselves. And what that allowed you to do is actually start to reward yourself personally, just, you know, whether it is I can, I will, I do, but it's also what are the areas of interest. What's amazing is, you know, I always see issues are opportunities in disguise. Very much so.
Absolutely.
So with this whole issue that you had, there was the opportunity came opening, even though it was hidden. You know, this whole break. So happens that, you know, your brother's getting married, and the break came for you. You know, the Philippines was probably a major turning point in your life. Whether it was the weather, or whether it was the wedding or whatever it was, there was a sense of escapism from your natural ecosystem that you had here. You were so far detached from it that I think what it did is it started to help you change your the spirit of what you're doing around. I think would it be fair to say that you came back with a bit of renewed purpose?
No, absolutely. It's so true. We need to get out of that environment as well, and like whether we admit to it or not, whether we like it or not, ultimately we are creatures of habit. And you could be the most or even myself, we could be the most law-abiding, loving person alive, but if we hang around with thieves, robbers, drug dealers, murderers, rapists, eventually we'll turn into them. But it happens in stages. The first stage is abhorrence. I hate what they do. They're evil people. The second stage is indifference. Oh, well, they do it, I don't. The third stage is acceptance. Oh, they've had a hard life, they've been depressed, they've got a leg missing, they've been homeless, or whatever the reason may be. We have empathy for them. And the fourth stage is involvement. But it normally happens in stages. So if we are in an environment which is not conducive to us, to success, or to being in a good state, then it's important to remove ourselves from that environment. That's critical.
That's amazing stuff. Thank you. Look, I just need to share up. You've got a lot of fans on today, basically. I've got some questions coming through, and please make sure you guys are sending your questions in for James. I mean, he's a very special guest to have on board today. We are honoured to have someone like James who's really talking out. So apart from sort of Emma talking about you're a true warrior, Haroon Rabbani, and we'll come to your question in a minute about who inspires you the most, so you can think about that question while I go through these lists. Emma Louise is saying, hey, Aslan Chavel's on. You've got Bianca and Bilal Jamil on. Aaron Bradley Feeks on. Leah Notariani is saying she's really proud of you. Sarah Lister has just come on saying thank you for sharing your journey struggles. Annie Shah is agreeing with you about Haroon Rabbani and how great he is. I've got Colette Mason's on as well, and Monish Maz just joined in saying he's just dropped in and he's really enjoying this. So listen, we're on with James Porritt. James Porritt is the master of the D, and you know, we've gone from depression, disappointment, disregard, to domino effects, to dark spaces, to disillusion, to almost now into this kind of defeatist, to where are we? We're slowly getting to disruption, aren't we? We're slowly getting to the D for disruption. So I'm sure there's another 27 Ds that I'm going to find along this conversation. So while I'm thinking about these Ds, James, can you answer Haroon's call? Who inspires you the most?
Sure. That's a fascinating question, you know, and it's really weird because I've had so many massive shifts recently, right? And I don't want this to sound conceited or anything else, but there's so many people that I love, admire, and respect. But I think before I used to look up to so many people. But I did a Facebook Live last week, Tuesday, with Abdul, and I didn't get a chance to watch it. And then Thursday morning, I was actually watching it myself, and I was watching it, and I was like, wow, I actually inspire myself. And it's so weird, but I've got that space now where I'm just at such peace with who I am, what I am, my purpose, that it's just gone beyond that. It's just that everything's as it's meant to be. Everything's in the perfect moment, and I just feel so blessed. And I was speaking to Patrick actually, this is a few weeks ago, and I was saying to Patrick, I said, I finally believe. I said, I finally know. I said, I'm Neo, you're Morpheus. And he started laughing. But it's crazy. It's crazy. The stuff that's been happening the last few weeks, it's honestly like I'm bending the matrix to my will. And here's the thing, we're all Neos. We're all creators. And we can all design the life that we truly want.
And that's where we want to get to. Designing. Here's the other D. Design now. We're moving on.
I set that up. I knew it.
You're setting up all of these, basically. So, no, but listen, you know, here you are today. We can see this. We can feel it. You know, after you explaining the, you know, your past and the struggles and everything that you've had all the way through this. You know, today you're a model of calmness. You seem as though you're fulfilled from within. You don't even need to smile to radiate that kind of warmth energy that would be pulled from someone that's happy and positive in what they're doing. Tell me something. The work that you do, I mean, this is probably inspired and inspired through your life journey. But you know, it's interesting. When I first got to sort of connect and meet you, I mean, obviously we'd connected at we met first at Shimoni Gilani's PMV tribe event and stuff like this, and
you were awesome, by the way. You inspired me that day. You were brilliant.
Thank you. It's not the Ketan Makwana show, unfortunately, so I'm not a guest, but I'll take that. I'll take that right here on the chin. Thank you very much for that compliment. Ego. But I didn't really get to connect with you as in on this level, and then obviously we spent some time and had a chat, and I think it's one of the things after having that chat that I so wanted to get you on here. You know, when you started to talk through you know, all the bits and pieces that you're at, you know, you do something unique. You know, you've positioned yourself on getting people out of their survival mode and into creation. Tell us more what's that all about?
Yeah, so that's fascinating because it's like, where do we put our value? And it's human nature to put that value into money, right? But money is only perceived value, and some people are so poor, all they have is money. But when we put our value into the jobs we have, our careers, a business, the car, the homes, friends, or life partner, what happens if we lose that car and home? What happens if we lose that job? What happens if we lose the friends? What happens if we lose our life partner? Our value's gone, right? But as soon as we started putting that value into ourselves, that's when the magic happens. And really and truly, all I know is that I know nothing. All I know is that we came here from somewhere, I don't know where. We're here for a short space of time, and then we're going to go back somewhere. But apart from that, I don't really know much else. But I love listening to wise people. And the likes of Muhammad Ali, Bruce Lee, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, these people inspire me. They spoke with such conviction, such power, such authority, and they were way ahead of their time. These were speakers. Take nothing away from the speakers today, they're awesome people, but these were speakers that if they said the wrong thing, they'd get killed for it, and some of them did. But they still spoke their truth. That is power. And I remember Muhammad Ali, he was stripped of his belts because of his belief, because he refused to go to war for something that he didn't believe in. And I remember he was having an interview afterwards, and the interview was talking to him, discussing different things like we're talking now about religion and other stuff. And then I love the way he just disrupted the flow of conversation. I'll do that for you. And he had a glass of water, and he said to the guy, "Where did this glass of water come from?" And the guy looked at him confused, like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, who made it? Did the glass create itself?" He was like, "No, we did." And Muhammad Ali was like, "Well, if the glass couldn't create itself and we had to create it, and we are greater than it, then where did the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky come from? We sure as hell didn't pull it there. Who pull it there?" Boom. Killer blow. And that's the thing, like, we came from somewhere. There's an energy source that is more powerful than us, that we're a part of. Some people call it God, creator, source, Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Allah, Buddha, the prophets, wherever it may be, but that energy source connects all of us, and we are all connected. But what if, when each and every single one of us came here, we each had a unique purpose and mission to fulfill, and within each of us we had that perfect set of blueprint and instructions to fulfill that mission as well. But what if along the journey, first of all through conditioning from parents, family, friends, school, education, work, life partner, society as a whole, we were conditioned to believe that we're weird. We're conditioned to believe that there's something wrong with us. We're conditioned to believe that we should be like everyone else. We should be normal and fit in. We were conditioned not to ask questions. We were conditioned to be quiet. We were conditioned to believe that we're not going to make it. We were conditioned to believe that we're not worthy or capable of love. We were conditioned to believe that we're powerless. We were conditioned to live in fear. I can go all day long, but these conditionings has been pretty poor. And as you can hear from my story, I've had pretty poor conditioning. Most people have. But everyone looks at becoming more, learning more, making more money, whatever it is, more. But what if life is actually far more simple than that? What if life is not about becoming anything? Life is not even about learning anything or acquiring wealth. What if life is simply about remembering who we were, what we were, and our purpose when we came here? What if it's not about the daily accumulation, but rather the daily elimination? What if life is not about...
Can you just repeat that again? It's not about the daily accumulation, it's about the daily elimination.
Elimination.
Wow.
So it's not about the daily increase. What if it's simply about the daily decrease? What if it's simply about hacking away at the unessential, because simplicity is key? And what if enlightenment is not a happy, fluffy process, but depending on our conditioning, as I said, mine is pretty poor, but what if enlightenment is actually a completely destructive process, cutting through all the deceits, lies, half-truths and bullshit that we've been taught, that we tell ourselves, until we get back to our truth, our source, our light, our power.
But James, I mean, I get it, and I think there is a lot of power in what you're saying. Can I be mistaken to say then what you're trying to also assimilate is that since the day we were born, we obviously came into this world with no clothes. You know, we were massive pitchers the minute we came out, because we were already pitching for milk the minute we got out, or probably a blanket because we're cold. But since then, and you know, as we evolve and mature and grow, do you believe that it's you know, we've been served propaganda after propaganda after propaganda, which has made us, sort of modeled us to be people that would, you know, have to pursue wealth, pursue material, pursue this. You know, what is it? I mean, you know, the universe is built with yin and yang and all this kind of stuff in that respect. But you know, surely for every you know, for every naysayer, there is a protagonist and a disruptor in that respect. You know, you mentioned Ali and X as some of these people that stand up to the conformities. So what is it? Is it just mindless brainwashing that we've had that makes us pursue in material ways? Because what you're talking about is, you know, it's simpler than that. You don't it doesn't need to be all of this. It's just it's identification and authentication of who you are and what your purpose is, according to what you're saying. So, you know, what is it about our society that's making us become greedy and hungry?
Great question, and this is very powerful stuff that we're talking about now. So I'm really glad the way you put that across, beautifully articulated. And
Try my best.
We make an awesome team, man. We can do more work. I'm just going to boost your ego all day long. But it is, I love the way you said that. But again, all I'm saying here is my opinions, my beliefs, and what I believe to be true. But everyone's got their own truths. Okay. But here's the thing, and this is why I speak to people in question form. Because can we have the rainbow without first the rain and the storm? Is it possible? We can't, right? It's a process. And how can we know true love without first experiencing the pain of heartbreak and loss?
I agree.
And how can we know the light, let alone to even seek the light, unless we first emerge from the deepest depths of darkness?
I agree.
Like I said, through my journey. And we look at the night sky, we can see the stars shining brightly. But if we were to look at a clear day up at the sky, can we see the stars?
No.
Have they been moved?
No.
But we can't see them because too much light. Stars only shine in darkness. And this world that we live in is a world of duality. We cannot know one thing without first experiencing its opposite.
Another bloody duality. What the hell's the matter with you? Okay, I don't want to break your form. Keep going.
It's cool.
No, keep going.
But it's the D show, right? I keep forgetting all day long with you. But it is a world of duality, because we cannot know one thing without first experience opposite. If we want to know unconditional love, we must first experience hate, anger, and pain. If we want to know patience, we will be tested. And there cannot be any victory without first a sacrifice. It's a process, but therein lies the beauty of life. There's only two things we are guaranteed in life. One is change and disruption, and two is death, another dude. So that's the only thing that we guaranteed. But guess what? Therein lies the beauty of life. Because if we live forever, then we'd get bored. But the fact that we're going to die one day, it means this moment that you and I are having right now, we're never going to have again, and it's precious. Because money we can create anywhere. But our time, our energy once gone, we'll never get.
It's like a candle that's been diffused with another D.
Exactly.
All right. And Aaron Bradley Feats on there. I've known Aaron for a number of years as well. I've had Aaron's said, I've been in a dark place, my friend, and when you get out, it's such a massive release. You free yourself. So well done, James. Emma Louise is giving high fives. Emma Louise is 100% truth, James. I think you've got a big fan in Emma Louise here. Aaron is back on again as well, saying money doesn't make you happy, it supports the choices we make. You make your emotions. Family is priceless. So I think
absolutely.
So you know, I think you've got this conscious state of the fact that actually what I'm picking up from what you're talking about here is you've got to be on the edge of controversy and death. I would say for you to actually really appreciate and see what success, wealth, harmony, all of these kind of positive attributes is. If you're not on the edge of that type of on the knife edge, then how are you ever going to appreciate fully? So is it fair to say that those that perhaps haven't experienced the dark, I'm not saying, and what I mean by that is in comparison to many that, or people like yourself, does that mean that they're not seeing the light correctly? Because you use the metaphor of the stars and during the daylight, and because there's too much light you can't see the stars and you need darkness to see the stars. But there are people probably out there that have never seen darkness but probably can see stars. What do you say to that? That metaphor is completely off the chain, but I'm gonna ask you anyway.
No, but this is the beautiful thing, and I love what you said there, because again, what I'm speaking about is my journey, my path, and my experiences, and that's a very powerful point that you made, because there's a lot of coaches there, and all coaches mean well, but if I'm coaching a client, I can help advise and guide them, but I am in no position, I have no right whatsoever to tell them what to think or what to believe or what to do. All I can do is help and guide them, because my purpose in life is to help people, to guide them back to their truth, back to their light, back to their source of all their power, and to help them unleash their greatness within them. That's my purpose.
So guys, we have James Porritt on. He's going to be on for 10 more minutes. Can you believe it? We've almost wrapped up an hour.
Wow, that's so fast.
I know. That's what happens when you're with the D-man.
And you get a lot of D's as well.
You got lots of D's in as well, basically. We're going for the world record.
I think we should have a tally. Who's got the most D's out of all your interviewees so far?
You and me, probably. That's about the only ones, basically. Guys, if you guys, it's nice to see Alan Killian's on the house. Hey, how you doing, Disruptor? Shamalia Mahmood has come on, and Jimena Vargas from Guatemala. One of my friends from Guatemala is on as well. So you've got a truly international audience here today. Any questions you've got for James? James has been talking about going out from disappointment, darkness, and the dominoes right the way through, transforming from delusional right into the delights and the dynamics. And really what James has been talking about here today, guys, is that it's through his own experiences that he feels compassion, and he feels the impulse to help people see the light again. And what I mean by that is he's not here to mentor you into it and tell you what you've got to do, but he's here to actually guide you through what needs to happen. Because for someone who's actually come from such a dynamic background with so much that's gone on and on and on and on, and I know there are people out there that have shared the same sort of or similar pains, James is someone who's a real testament to you, to us all, as a real example of someone who's been able to take control of his life, who's been able to dictate where he goes next, to be able to demonstrate that he has the potential of actually living a fulfilled life, even if he doesn't have anything at all. To go from actually being very unwell with his health to being here, to have 3 seizures in an hour and almost be declared epileptic, to anything and everything that life could possibly throw at this man. He's actually come back out like a Muhammad Ali and risen, and I think it deserves this kind of recognition to people like you, James, that you can
I really appreciate that.
You can really just by doing what you're doing, you can really just help others through. So let's move on a little bit. I know you are you work, and your specialism is helping people move out of that survival mode. You mentioned a little bit earlier about your books coming out soon. Is there any chance that we can have a little sneak peek? So could you give us a little bit of juicy detail about what's in the book?
I can read a little bit of the introduction if you want.
No. Yeah, of course you can. It's entirely up to you. As long as you don't take more than a couple of minutes to do it. No, absolutely. Just guide us through a little bit of the principle behind it. We understand why you've done the book, and what you've done is you're actually reliving all of this, but you're not reliving it as you reliving it. It's you in another version of you looking at you in the past, and then you're writing about it. So it's almost investigative journalism that you're doing with this. But just for those people out there watching, what can they expect to come in the book?
It's very powerful. It's transformational, and it really has the potential to help people get dramatic shifts from where they are to where they need to be, and to take them on that journey. Because what we need more than anything else is that support, it's that accountability, it's that guidance, just for someone else to say, listen, it's okay, I understand how you feel, I felt the same way, this is what I found, if I can do it, you can tear it apart. That's what the message of the book is.
It's not even if I can do it, you can do it, you can tear it apart. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And okay, from the wider perspective, I know you're doing a lot of work with Abdul, and you've got a lot of things going on. You were talking about Zena earlier, about this, this amazing talent that's been able to raise so much money in such a short space of time. But what is the day in the life of James Porritt at the moment? What are you working on? What are you working in? And what can people get engaged and involved with you?
Yeah, it's still a struggle, don't get me wrong, but I think the key thing now, it is, but I think more than anything else, because Haroon used to really beat me up about this, and I love Haroon, keep me accountable, he's awesome, but it's about being content with where I am, what I am, and who I am, and having that gratitude. And it's a blessing in disguise, because if you look at a fish's natural state is to swim, a bird's natural state is to fly, a blade of grass, its natural state is to grow. But as human beings, we are the only organism on the planet with the unique ability to manifest our dreams into reality. But it does not differentiate between fear and love. And a lot of times we're just recreating the past until that cycle's broken. So my life's work is to help people break that cycle and live the life that we've been designed and created to live, to get into that creation mode.
So one of the things that you said in your profile to me is that you have aspirations of filling Wembley Stadium with people who are free of life. What are you doing? What's the plan? What is your way of making this happen? Because James, I don't put it past you. Whether it takes you now a whole eternity to do it, I think Wembley Stadium will be packed one of these days with a James Porritt special. So, are you doing? You're doing this on a one-by-one basis. Are you building? Are you building tribes of people? How are you signaling your message out through the vessels of your clients and stuff?
Yeah, no, fantastic. So it's all good and well to have a great vision, but you need to be taking daily steps to get to there. And with what I do, my focus is always connecting, collaborating, and contributing. Sorry, no D's in that one, but next time. But it's to add value together, get like-minded people together, and very quickly I'll share the vision and the vehicles that I'm using to do that. But my vision is very simple: to fill Wembley Stadium with people, and then fill Wembley Stadiums in every city, in every country across the globe. Every single person at that stadium will be financially free. And here's the thing: financial freedom doesn't mean millions. It doesn't mean like enormous amounts of wealth. But for one family, the difference for financial freedom could just be an extra £500. For an individual, it could be £50. Trying to put a £5 note where a £50 note should go does not work. I've tried every algorithm going. It just does not work. But if every single person in the stadium are in a position where they can do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, with whom, without having to ask anyone else's permission, without having to worry or stress about money or time, that's personal freedom. And that is power, because that is our natural state. That is our God-given right. That is abundance. Because if you're broke and I'm broke, Ketan, all I can do realistically is give you a hug and say, I know how you feel. I cannot impact your life any more than that. I have to be in a position of strength first. And once I'm in that position of strength, then I can go and help out other people. So there was a lot of things that I was doing, and I've actually stripped back on a lot of things. I've actually stopped doing my coaching now, because on one-to-one, it's just burning me out. And I cannot impact as many lives. Now, that goal, I may not achieve in my lifetime, but that's something that I strive towards every single day on a daily basis. So there's 2 vehicles that I'm using. One is with Zena. She's an exceptional individual with what she does. And we've got an event tomorrow evening, 29th of November, 6 p.m. at Holiday Inn in Green Park, I believe, where she's sharing her skills and knowledge and expertise. We've created a program between myself, Zena and Abdul, and we're helping people to replicate the success that Zena's had, and she wants to create 50 success stories from that. So that's a building block to get to that Wembley Stadium, which is very realistic. So that's on one side. On the other side, Mr. Patrick Powers and I, and it's fascinating, the power of synchronicities, Ketan. It's insane. I have to pinch myself. I still can't get over it. Now, we're talking about Wembley Stadium. Wembley holds what? About 80,000 people, right? Give or take. Yeah. So last weekend, not this weekend, the weekend before, Patrick and I, obviously the vehicle that we're using to do this is network marketing. Love it, loathe it, hate it. It's a very powerful vehicle. But the best thing about it is the people. The worst thing about it is the people as well. And it's not a perfect model. It is flawed, but at the same time, it's very powerful. And Patrick and I, we were talking, and we got committed. And we said, fuck it, we've got to create a team of 100,000 people within 5 years. And within 24 hours, Ketan, would you believe the universe connected us with a gentleman in America where him and his wife have actually built a team of 120,000 people within 5 years using social media. And I just had a conversation with him today. We had time with them yesterday, and they're helping us build that, and it's exciting. It's insane, right?
Phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
So guys, if you want to be part of that vision, and if you want to find out more about what I'm doing, just feel free to reach out. Message me on Facebook Messenger. I'll put my number on there, WhatsApp, any way possible. But if you feel that you have something of value to give and you want to impact other people's lives, then here's the thing. Opportunity only comes along once. Second time he sends his daughter misfortune. Please don't open the door to her.
I love that one. That was brilliant. Opportunity comes first. And yeah, is that Patrick powerful? Is that how it is? Oh, listen, it's been. I can't believe how fast the hour's gone in this respect. Yeah. Look, this.
Got to do more.
We will do definitely. This event you got going on tomorrow. Would it be basically when we'll get it posted up for anyone that is interested in coming along? Remember, guys, this could be the start of your journey. This could be the part the pathway that brings you out of your darkness into light. Just don't take it from James today. Take it from James the fact of someone who's actually gone through all those trials and tribulations, and it's not saying that they never would do, but has actually found a way to actually feel at peace with them himself first. And then from there, all of this is kind of opening up. But one thing that I want you guys to take away from what James has been talking about is the perception, the way in which he sees his perception, his behavior, and his attitude is all driven through that one thing. Is the way he sees his life and the life around him. He's open enough to actually say that he's not here to enforce the change, he's here to guide a change, and I think that's a very powerful thing that one needs to consider here. Emma Louise is already registered. Haroon, I think, is falling off his chair laughing. I don't know why. Emma's come back and said thanks. But look, listen, James, it's been an absolute privilege and honour to have you on the show. I really appreciate your time for this. You've obviously done something spectacular with for the audiences here today. I wish you the very best with everything that you're doing. I know our paths are going to cross multiple times over and over again, and then I'm going to go back and watch this and see how many times we used a word with the letter D, and then I'm going to go apply to the Guinness World Book of Records and see if we can get it in there. But on behalf of the Enterprise Lab and the League of Disruptors Show, James, thank you very much.
Likewise, it's been a pleasure. I've been humbled. And guys, whatever you do, don't take up space in the world. Go out there and make a huge difference. Make today count, for tomorrow is promised to no one. I believe in you. I see your greatness within you. Stay blessed.